In this video, let's look at two high-class off-roader benchmarks from Jeep and Land Rover to see which ones are best for you, and at the end of the video, I'll also be introducing you to one of the best SUVs I've ever driven on Northern Ontario's roads and trails. There are too many different kinds of shoes. We've got shoes for walking, running, hiking, sneaking, skating, and even loafing. If you've been checking out the latest crossovers and SUVs lately, you'll see a similarly daunting level of selection and choices. Of those, a few specific models stands out when it comes to comfortably tackling the driving conditions common in locales like mine. I call Northern Ontario home, and I spend several thousand kilometers a month testing all manner of vehicles in and around this part of the province. It's a bare minimum 1,200 kilometers of testing per machine, split evenly between long-distance highway driving between Sudbury and Toronto, and rough road, back roads driving in and around town. And in each of the vehicles I'm showing you here, additional miles were logged exploring the nearby wilderness via light to moderate off-road trails, as well as abandoned rail beds that exist as a sort of craggy, mogul-covered secret highway that winds through the landscape. In town, most of our roads can be considered worst-case scenario for any vehicle, with wheel-splitting potholes that cost drivers dearly every year. Sudbury roads can regularly be seen on lists of Canada's worst. If you're considering a crossover or SUV for use in this sort of setting, you might be considering something a little more specialized for the job. A machine that can take a pothole strike like a champ without any exploding sidewalls. Something tough and confidence-inspiring. Something good at keeping you and yours comfortable for both hours-long highway drives and weekend treks over rough terrain. And when those treks go off-road, there are two things that make me comfortable. The first is being physically comfortable, ideally while driving a machine with suspension that can take some abuse without sounding or feeling like it's getting smashed to pieces. Exploring new trails is always more fun when your ride doesn't sound or feel like it's about to cough up a strut. The second thing that makes me comfortable is confidence, and if I'm miles from anything deep in the wilderness, the confidence of knowing that I have more traction, clearance, and toughness than I need makes for more comfortable adventuring. So let's start with the Jeep Grand Cherokee, an upmarket choice from the world's foremost off-road brand. This machine's loyal customers say it's one of the only family haulers up for the job, when that job includes driving in the sort of terrain that'll rip the oil pan clean off many a cute ute. I've logged at least 25,000 kilometers testing various Grand Cherokees over the years, and in the process, I've come to expect a machine that leaves me feeling covered off, supported, and backed up, no matter the situation. With low-range gearing, specialized off-road drive modes, and what I'd argue is one of the most versatile suspension systems in a modern vehicle, Grand Cherokee is a machine that feels right at home just about everywhere. The suspension is remarkable. Very little upsets it, not even catching the odd moment of air while bounding over a particularly rough trail. The machine I'm showing you here is running the conventional fixed suspension system, which delivers a solid and sturdy off-road ride, a comfortable ride during even hard use, and nicely minimized noise and harshness even on the lousiest roads around. This North Edition tester even wore a set of Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires for added peace of mind. They're reinforced with Kevlar and built to take a licking, and when you've popped as many crossover tires on rocks as I have, running a set of truck tires like this translates directly into one less thing to worry about. The Land Rover Defender is built to take some abuse too, and it's even more comfortable while doing it. Like the Grand Cherokee, Defender is a 5-seater. It's high-end but not high luxury, and it's an off-road legend with a celebrated history. Depending on equipment, the pricing between these two is very similar as well. On the highway, the Land Rover is neither as quiet nor as light on its feet as the Grand Cherokee, even if the Defender's ride feels just as planted and secure and clocks in a little softer to this driver's backside. The suspension system in my Defender tester included specialized technology that brings the suspension system to life with its own brain and nervous system and shock absorbers. Inch by inch, these are constantly self-optimizing to keep the body stable, the ride soft, and the occupants grinning at the massive but expertly controlled suspension travel. So even while being pummeled by the surface below, Defender doesn't bounce, rebound, or wallow, it just soaks up and smooths out. The feeling of the computer-controlled ride self-optimizing beneath you is one of the best things about driving this machine. It's also the standout styling exercise here, with the most distinctive looks both inside and on board. Outside, it's a distinctive, chunky, and tough look that stands out like a piece of specialized hardware next to the Grand Cherokee. Inside, drivers are presented with a more convincing array of high-tech touches and modern interfaces, complete with multi-function display dials, a gorgeous digital dash, and a beautiful central display complete with full on-screen off-road control center. Like Grand Cherokee, Defender is built to be comfortable in all conditions, though its inherently tough engineering and high-tech features help turn in the more comfortable and confidence-inspiring drive in the dirt. Notably, thanks to the trick suspension, the Defender can cover rough and uneven trails at much higher speed than the Grand Cherokee. So two legends, two similar machines, two similar shoppers, and two similar approaches. The Jeep Grand Cherokee's excellent all-around driving manners and top-notch off-road confidence, making it a compelling choice. Though the Land Rover Defender's highway drive isn't as quiet or car-like, it does serve up the superior interior of this pair, complete with plenty of slick tech and interfaces that make off-road driving even more comfortable and accessible for all skill levels. Now, usually at this point I'd introduce you to this machine, the Toyota 4Runner Trd Pro, as a third option and a personal favorite for driving in my locale. But after some extensive seat time earlier this winter in a new off-road optimized family SUV staple, I now have a new favorite in this category. And that favorite is this, the Gmc Yukon AT4. Of all the SUVs I've driven, a specific set of attributes makes this an all-time favorite that I was sad to return. Now, with 3 seating rows, standard V8 power, and a starting ask landing at the better part of 75,000 Canadian dollars, it's not a direct comparison to the Defender or Grand Cherokee. And as a model, it's too new to be an off-road legend, though GMC knows a thing or two about four-wheel drive. However, the extra spend does get you the most well-rounded SUV driving experience in this video when it comes to driving in rural areas. The specialized AT4 suspension system has a similar skill set to that of the Defender. The off-road ride, even in punishing situations, is equally as comfortable and controlled, but even more delightful to experience from a machine this big and long. The AT4's highway ride is the best on this page, quieter than both Defender and Grand Cherokee, but just as smooth and comfortable, and directed by the most precisely calibrated steering of the trio for cruising at speed. The secret sauce is the AT4's specialized suspension and how that ties into a slew of new driveline hardware, including a computer-controlled locking rear axle with its own brain. The result is a machine that is an absolute expert at processing whatever surface comes its way with a confident swagger. The suspension mitigates bouncing and helps maintain control. Just follow the roofline in this footage over the moguls and you'll see what I mean. The rear axle and new 4x4 control system help the AT4 find traction fast in slippery situations, while simultaneously turning in the liveliest slippery backroads drive of the three, delightfully weird given the size. So I think there's something special in the way the AT4 has been calibrated and executed, and a sporty, tough, comfortable, and very precisely controlled feel shines through the driving experience, even on the nastiest roads and trails. I wish the interior was a bit more flashy and the AT4 drinks a little more gas than I like. Still, the way it conducts itself in all situations is remarkable, and it manages an excellent highway ride, off-road ride, and handling to boot. So that's 3 excellent choices covered and a new personal favorite identified. Happy shopping.
So which one's for you? Grand Cherokee, Defender, AT4, something else? If you live somewhere with plenty of really badly maintained roads, your fellow drivers would like to know your take on what you drive and how you find that it rides too. Let us know down in the comments section below. I'm Justin Pritchard. Take care and drive safe.